Unlock the miraculous power of your mind. 7 divine secrets for supernatural clarity revealed. In Rainwood, a quaint rural village where time ticked gently and hope flowed freely, there was a woman named Sarah. At 38, she radiated unwavering faith as the cherished leader of the local church. Her laughter echoed like a sweet melody through the serene countryside, encouraging her neighbors to embrace a life of virtue. Yet, darkness clouded her world when her only son fell ill with a rare and baffling condition. The village buzzed with whispered prayers, but Sarah's heart trembled under the weight of uncertainty, her once unshakable faith now questioning the heavens. Yet, faith still flickered in the shadows. Villagers filled the old stone church, its walls thick with devotion, its pews bursting with hope. To join her in prayer, pillars of light streamed through the stained glass windows, illuminating every tearful face. "God hears us," they proclaimed, but Sarah could only bow her head in anguish. What if her prayers went unheard? What if divine mercy slipped through her fingers like sand? Determined to rediscover clarity, she delved into the 7 divine secrets for supernatural clarity. Each day, she sought solitude in the chapel, surrounded by heavenly light and a profound silence that echoed her longing for answers. "What shall I believe?" she whispered, as if the walls might answer. The stillness enveloped her, and in moments she felt the presence of angels brushing against her spirit, urging her to keep seeking the truth. Days turned into weeks, and as she ventured deeper into prayer, strange occurrences began to unfold. One Sunday, the air crackled with divine energy. As Sarah clasped her hands in prayer, an intense warmth surged through her, lifting her spirits. Suddenly, the church's old hymnal opened on its own, pages fluttering until they revealed treasured verses that spoke of healing and restoration. Gasps filled the room. Their eyes widened in awe. "A message from God," murmured the faithful. Their faith sparked anew. But despair returned when a desperate search for answers led her to alternative treatments, experiments with herbal remedies, and consultations with specialists. Hope flared bright, only to be snuffed out by disappointment. She felt the weight of doubt pressing down like an anchor, chains binding her spirit. Just as she was ready to surrender, a revival meeting erupted through Rainwood, filling the air with the sweet scent of hymns and prayer. The congregation ignited with fervor. Voices rose like a tidal wave, lifting Sarah from her despair. "God is in our midst," they shouted, as flames of faith danced around them. But in that very moment of ecstasy, Sarah found herself teetering on the edge, fighting the shadow of doubt that clawed at her thoughts. "Do I have what it takes?" she questioned, feeling the grip of uncertainty tighten. With tears streaming down her face, she whispered for strength, for courage, for clarity. And it was during that surrender, when she felt utterly lost, that a blinding light enveloped her, cutting through her grief with brilliance that defied description. She stood before the divine, bathed in warmth, love washing over her doubts. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As the villagers prayed around her, intertwining their pleas with hers in a powerful chorus of hope, Sarah stood poised at a crossroads. Would the miraculous heal her son? Was this divine vision the answer she sought, or merely a flicker of faith in tumultuous storms yet to come? The echoes of prayers resonated in her heart, and the journey towards understanding divine clarity was only just beginning. In the days following that radiant encounter, Sarah awoke with a renewed spirit.
Each morning light filtered through her window, golden rays framing her face like a halo. She rose with a sense of purpose, the heaviness of doubt slowly lifting, replaced by beams of hope that filled her heart. She wandered the quiet village streets, greeting neighbors with a warmth ignited by the light she had felt. Was it a glimpse of heaven? She could not tell, but it compelled her to share the message in her heart. "There's something more," she whispered to herself, "a deeper truth waiting to be unveiled." Soon, whispers of revival swept through Rainwood like a gentle breeze. Inspired by Sarah's infectious faith, the villagers gathered under the towering oak tree that had stood for generations. Each week, they shared their testimonies and uplifted one another in prayer. Sarah felt the presence of God more than ever, guiding her to take bold steps despite the uncertainty that still lingered. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and twilight cloaked the village in soft hues, she gathered with her fellow believers. With the air electric, she stood before them, her voice trembling with anticipation. "Let us pray not only for healing, but for understanding," she proclaimed. "Let us ask Him for clarity and purpose in this season of testing." And so they prayed, fervent and sincere. The world around them faded, absorbed into the intangible essence of faith that enveloped them. The oak tree seemed to sway in rhythm to their prayers, almost as if nature herself resonated with their devotion. Sarah felt the warmth of the moment cradling her spirit, reassuring her that she was not alone. As Sarah left the gathering that night, she felt an unusual pull towards the chapel. Despite the hour, she found the ancient door creaking open as if in welcome. Stepping inside, the familiar scent of wood and wax wrapped around her, a comforting embrace in the stillness. Flickering candles cast soft shadows on the walls, illuminating the sacred space where so many had poured their hearts. Kneeling at the altar, Sarah poured out her prayers, her hopes, her fears, her longing for her son's healing. "Lord, guide me," she pleaded. "Show me how to be the vessel of your miracles." In that sacred moment, a thought flickered to life in her mind. What if healing came through teaching? She envisioned a special prayer group, a space where others, burdened by doubt and despair, could gather to seek guidance and share their journeys. "Healing is not just physical," she remembered someone saying. "It's a transformation of the heart." A spark ignited within, and a plan began to form. In the days that followed, Sarah presented her idea to the congregation. "Let us not simply wait for miracles to happen. Let's foster them within each other," she urged. The response was overwhelming. A resounding chorus of "Amen" echoed through the church. Villagers began to share their struggles, forge connections, and support each other, lighting a path through the very darkness that threatened to consume them. Yet amidst this communal faith revival, shadows of doubt still clung to Sarah's mind. What if it was too late for her son? How could her heart guide others when her own family was fractured by pain? These questions, like storm clouds, loomed over her spirit, persistent but uninvited. But as she walked home one night, hands clasped in prayer, she paused to look up at the stars dotting the deep night sky. Each twinkle seemed to whisper that she wasn't alone on this journey after all. New questions bubbled in her soul. Was this darkness meant to lead her to an even greater light? Would the answers she sought unravel as she continued to shine her own light in the world? As mysteries of the divine danced in her heart, Sarah held tightly to her faith. The adventure was unfolding before her eyes. She could feel it, both the weight of the trials and the lightness of hope entwined as they guided her down this uncertain path. What awaited her beyond the crossroads? Would she find the miraculous power that lay within? The stillness whispered promises of something extraordinary just around the corner. The days that followed burst forth with a fervor unmatched. Rainwood was transformed, vibrant with the energy of awakened spirits. Sarah believed she could feel the heartbeat of the village synchronizing with her own, a divine rhythm drawing them closer together. Each prayer meeting under the oak tree became a sacred gathering, infused with hope.
Laughter and tears intertwined as villagers recounted the burdens they carried and the faith they nurtured. Yet, even in the midst of this miraculous revival, doubt stood like a looming shadow. As Sarah prepared for her first session of the prayer group, anxiety rippled through her. What if she stumbled on her words? What wisdom could she offer when her heart ached for her own son? She paced in her small kitchen, the wooden floors creaking beneath her apprehension. "Lord, I need you," she moaned softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "Help me to be the light, even when my own flame flickers." Suddenly, a small handwritten note fell from the stack of papers on her table. It was a reminder from a dear friend who had passed on, but the words were palpable. "Speak from your heart. That's where miracles begin." That simple phrase reignited her spirit. Reflecting on the tenacity of her faith, Sarah knew she had a message to share. Not one birthed from perfection, but from the very depths of human experience. On the day of the first meeting, she arrived early to prepare. The chapel's ambiance was enveloped in an ethereal glow. Candles danced merrily, illuminating the polished wooden pews. She positioned chairs in a circle, envisioning a space where every heart would feel embraced. As the villagers trickled in, their faces painted with hope and concern, Sarah felt anticipation swell within her. "Welcome, friends," she began, her voice steadying with the encouragement of her own words. "We're here not just to pray, but to journey together. We are reclaiming our stories, the pain and the power within them." A murmur of agreement swept through the group. Sarah felt the unity of a collective heartbeats resonating, a sacred pulse wrapped around them like a comforting blanket. As the meeting bloomed, they shared their struggles. Tears flowed freely, mingling with laughter as they recounted both doubts and small victories. One woman spoke of her fear of being alone, while another shared the miracle of finding a long-lost friend. Every story, wrapped in vulnerability, unveiled a thread of connection, anchoring their spirits in the shared fabric of faith. Words of encouragement flowed as naturally as the tears, reinforcing the idea that no one had to stand alone in their journeys. Sarah's heart expanded. She could feel the Spirit of God weaving their testimonies together. The realization dawned on her that teaching was not just about imparting knowledge, but about cultivating love, understanding, and acceptance. Yet, amid the warmth, an unanswered question lingered at the edges of her heart. How would she confront the deepest worry she carried about her son? Tension tightened within her as she reached that thought, but uncertainty had a way of nudging her toward genuine prayer. What if, she mused quietly, the very act of sharing our struggles leads me to the answers I seek for him? After the meeting, under the oak tree, she found a moment of stillness. The whispers of the leaves rustled like gentle promises. She was bolstered by the shared resolve of her community, yet a quiet ache remained. Would bringing forth the light in others finally guide her toward her own healing? As Sarah returned home, determination infused her steps. She clasped her hands tightly, brimming with faith, but clouded by doubt. There was more to unveil, more miracles to discover, and not just for others, but for her own heart too. What if a simple prayer could bridge that gap? What if the healing she yearned for wasn't just for her son, but for a deeper understanding of God's plan? The dawn of revelation awaited just beyond the horizon. The wind whispered in her ear, inviting her to step forward and embrace the unknown. The sun rose softly over Rainwood, casting warm rays through Sarah's window. She awoke with a sense of purpose, a heartbeat echoing her resolve. This day felt different. It thrummed with possibility. Each breath she took filled her with a conviction that something miraculous was about to unfold. As Sarah prepared herself, the house buzzed with an odd stillness. It was as if the world paused, holding its breath in anticipation. She gathered her notes and a small silver flask,
carrying the water blessed during the last meeting. She believed in the power of prayer, that it was more than just words. It was community lifting each other up to the heavens. Stepping out into the fresh morning, she felt the dewy grass beneath her feet, each blade sparkling as if kissed by celestial light. The villagers were starting to gather again under the great oak, sharing glances and nods that spoke volumes. There was a sacred bond forming, a tapestry woven with each story they shared. The air pulsed with hope and healing. "Good morning, everyone," Sarah called out, her voice ringing clear. "Today, let's share not only our burdens, but also our dreams. Dreams are the seeds of miracles." The villagers welcomed the idea, their faces shining with curiosity. They sat in a circle, the oak tree a silent witness to their gathering, its branches stretching wide, as if to embrace them all. Sarah felt a flicker of bravery ignite within her. They began to share, whispers of what they longed for, their hopes entwined with prayers, creating a beautiful symphony. One man spoke of a job opportunity that felt unreachable. A woman expressed a desire for reconciliation with a sibling long estranged. Each story flowed like a gentle stream, the community's faith pooling together, amplifying the power of their prayers. As tears were shed and laughter shared, Sarah's heart danced. She had never felt so connected to these souls. Yet, in the depths of her spirit, a whisper called to her, the concern for her son, a shadow in this radiant moment. Could she dare to weave her own struggle into the fabric they were creating? Gathering courage, she took a deep breath. "Friends, I must share a weight I carry." Her voice trembled slightly, yet behind those words, a tide of emotion surged.
"My son is facing challenges that feel insurmountable. I pray for him constantly, but I feel lost. I ask for your prayers too." A silence embraced her. The air shimmered with understanding. One by one, the villagers reached out, their hands forming a circle of warmth around her. "We stand with you, Sarah," a familiar voice broke through, bold and steady. "You aren't alone in this." With each prayer lifted, with each heart engaged, she could feel divine power unlocking something deep within her. It's as if the burdens were transformed into butterflies, fluttering into the heavens, leaving behind an inexplicable peace. The sun sank lower in the sky, casting a golden glow over the gathering. A feeling of unity enveloped them, each soul connected in their journeys, both joyous and painful. As they finished their prayers, Sarah felt the gentle shift. She realized that the answers she sought for her son might already be within her, a revelation waiting to be recognized. Maybe, just maybe, the community's unity could be the beacon of hope she needed. "Let's continue this journey," she invited with renewed vigor. The gathering concluded, leaving behind not just prayers, but the promise of change. With every step back home, Sarah sensed a lightness in her heart. What if this cycle of shared faith is the bridge to the answers I crave? The cool evening wind wrapped around her like a divine embrace, nudging her forward. In this sacred season of awakening, what more awaited her? The horizon held secrets yet untold. The next morning greeted Sarah with a chorus of birds singing from the trees, their melody filling the air with a sense of promise. She rose early, her heart still fluttering from the gathering's transformative energy. The sense that something monumental was unfolding persisted, urging her onward. As she made her way to the oak, she felt a warmth envelop her, a gentle reminder that she was not alone in her journey. Each step felt lighter, her worries tethered to the earth, lifting skyward with the whispers of prayer. She could see the villagers already assembling, drawn together by an invisible thread of faith. The oak's broad branches seemed to sway with excitement, anticipating the sacred exchanges about to take place. It felt as if the earth itself understood their purpose, ready to capture every prayer, every shared hope.
"Good morning, friends," Sarah called out, her voice brighter, infused with fresh determination. "Today, let us not only exchange our dreams, but also seek wisdom in our struggles. Sometimes the answers we long for are hidden within our voices." Intrigued, the villagers settled again in the ever-familiar circle, the anticipation tangible. In that warm embrace of community, Sarah could almost hear an echo, a reminder that life's answers often come from those around us. Inspired, she decided to gently nudge them towards deeper reflections. "Let's take turns," she suggested, "and share a fear or doubt along with our dreams. For every shadow we shine a light on, we will surely invite hope in." One by one, they opened up, their voices weaving a rich tapestry of vulnerability. A farmer voiced his dread about failing crops. A mother confessed worries for her children's future in an ever-changing world. Each expression of concern seemed to draw heavier clouds over their shoulders, yet within that space there was a harmony, a beautiful acknowledgement of shared humanity. Sarah felt herself grow more courageous. When her turn finally came, she breathed deeply and said, "I fear that my son may never find his way. I want to guide him, but I'm not sure how." Her voice broke with emotion, yet she felt a release, a holy surrender of her burdens. In response, the villagers instinctively folded their hands over one another, forming a sanctuary of support. "Let's pray for wisdom and clarity for you and your son," a gentle voice spoke up. One after another, they interceded, lifting her and her son into the divine embrace, their prayers rising like incense. Sarah closed her eyes, envisioning the light breaking through the clouds of doubt. In those moments, she felt a flicker of faith ignite anew within her soul, capturing her attention like a spark. What if their shared vulnerabilities would merge with their dreams to create something extraordinary? As their prayers concluded, a stillness enveloped them, comforting yet electrifying. Sarah felt a sense of connection, not just to her community, but to something greater, a divine orchestration at play. "Let us trust that we will find our way together," she affirmed, her voice weaving strength into their hearts. The villagers nodded in agreement, their faces glowing with renewed purpose. There was power in the collective. They stood up, hearts lightened as if shedding a hefty shroud. Together, they embraced the promise of a new day. As Sarah walked home, a new thought echoed in her mind. What if each struggle was a stepping stone toward unveiling divine secrets? Could her fears guide her toward undiscovered wisdom? The sun dipped low on the horizon, shadows extending like arms of opportunity. Each moment teemed with divine potential. What blessings lay just beyond the curve of her fears? The next day dawned with a soft light filtering through the leaves, casting playful shadows on the ground. Sarah woke with a heart still buoyed by the previous day's gathering. The warmth of community, the sound of murmurs echoing prayers, had planted a seed of hope in her, as if a soft whisper had unfurled deep within her soul. As she prepared for the day, she felt an unshakable sense that more was at play than met the eye. A quiet confidence bubbled up within her. What if their shared vulnerabilities truly invited divine intervention? She could almost hear the rustle of the oak's leaves, affirming her thoughts just like the villagers had before. Making her way back to the gathering place, she noticed the villagers were already beginning to assemble. The energy in the air was electric, drawing her closer to them like a moth to flame. They greeted one another with smiles that radiated warmth, a tapestry of color against the backdrop of the morning sky. "Good morning," she called to them, feeling a spark of connection fill the space. "Today, let's share not only our dreams and fears, but also the moments when we felt touched by something greater than ourselves." An elder, his voice rich with experience, spoke up first. "I once lost everything, my livelihood and all I held dear. It was in that darkness I encountered a peace that defied understanding. I felt carried as if something divine cradled my heart. A collective hush fell over the group, a moment of sacred reverence for his journey. One by one, the villagers shared their testimonies of grace, the healing of relationships, the miraculous provision in times of need, or simply the haunting beauty of nature that turned their gaze upward. As each person spoke, Sarah's heart expanded. It was not merely their struggles that became illuminated, it was the resilience that blossomed from them. The stories flowed, each contributing to a burgeoning understanding of their interconnectedness, fortified by faith. Then it was Sarah's turn. She took a deep breath. There were times I felt like I was walking through deep water, alone and afraid. But the moments that followed those fears, when I turned to you all, or just to a still, quiet prayer, those were when I felt lifted. Her voice trembled with the power of her truth, yet her heart remained steady in its light. I've begun to see the beauty in my doubts, the possibility they represent. The villagers responded with nods and murmurs of agreement, their faces softening in acknowledgement of the commonality in Sarah's journey. Encouraged, she continued, "What if we all took a moment today to meditate on those divine encounters in our lives? Can we dare to find the miracle woven within our daily experiences?" A young girl seated next to her looked up, wide-eyed. "Like finding treasure?" "Exactly," Sarah beamed, her heart swelling at the child's innocent insight. "Treasure is hidden in our fears and struggles. In those places, we often uncover precious gems of wisdom and clarity." They closed their gathering with a moment of silence, a collective breath that seemed to draw in the divine presence around them. In that stillness, Sarah felt the weight of her worries lift, replaced by a gentle warmth spreading through her being. Each heart was an open vessel, ready to receive whatever blessings lay just beyond their fears. As the villagers dispersed, an exciting realization bloomed in Sarah's heart, a sense that this was only the beginning. The ever-present mystery of divine guidance was beckoning them deeper. But what awaited them on their journey into the hidden treasures of faith and understanding?
The sun climbed higher, spilling its golden rays across the clearing as the villagers strolled away, hearts still aglow from their shared truths. Sarah lingered behind, feeling the gentle breeze carry whispers of encouragement. She knelt beneath the oak, tracing her fingers along the rough bark, and closed her eyes. The sensation of warmth enveloped her, almost like the oak itself was wrapping her in a loving embrace. "I'm ready for the treasures," she whispered. As if in response, a flutter of leaves cascaded like laughter, stirring alive the dormant sounds of nature. It was as though the universe held its breath, waiting for what would unfold next. In the days that followed, Sarah noticed the villagers embracing a newfound openness. Conversations deepened, laughter came more easily, and a profound sense of community settled among them. There was magic in the air, the miracles of shared faith becoming evident in every small act of kindness. One morning, as she passed a basket overflowing with sunflowers, she stopped to help an elderly woman struggling to carry them. The woman's eyes sparkled as she shared a story about the sunflowers, a vivid reminder of how God's love blooms in abundance even in the harshest conditions. "They bend toward the sun, always seeking the light," the elder said, her voice rich with wisdom. "Much like our spirits when we lay our troubles before God, we were made to flourish." Sarah felt a rush of understanding wash over her. Each brief interaction began weaving a narrative of healing and purpose, echoing the collective resilience expressed at their gathering. Later that afternoon, the villagers decided to host a talent show, a night where gifts would be shared in celebration of their journey together.
Excitement rippled through the community, laughter mingling with anticipation. Sarah felt her heart thump with a mix of joy and fear. She had always longed to sing, but vulnerability scratched her confidence. As twilight descended, Sarah sat at home, staring at her reflection in the window. "What if I'm not good enough?" she muttered, frustration welling inside her. Yet, in the silence that followed, a stillness enveloped her, pushing back the doubt. What if it's not about perfection? With a deep breath, she grabbed her guitar. She had come to understand the beauty of offering up one's heart, regardless of the outcome. The night of the talent show arrived, the air thick with excitement. Under the glow of lanterns, laughter danced with the flickering flames, while across the gathering, friends were grateful and nervous to share their gifts. When it was Sarah's turn, she walked to the center, her heartbeat echoing the rhythm of grace. The spotlight felt warm but not uncomfortable. She took a moment, remembering the conversations, the tender stories, and the myriad moments of divine presence that had unfolded since their last gathering. It was time to release her fears. As the first notes flowed from her guitar, a hush fell over the crowd. The melody wrapped around them, binding each heart together in shared experience. Tears of joy began to pool in Sarah's eyes, reflecting the love surrounding her. She was, finally, stepping fully into her treasure, braving the fear that had once paralyzed her. Each strum unveiled fragments of her spirit, vibrant and free. When she finished, silence hung for a brief moment before applause erupted, a wave of warmth crashing over her. A cacophony of joyous clapping engulfed her, mixed with shouts of encouragement from the villagers. At that moment, she realized how stunningly beautiful it was to be embraced not just for talent, but for simply being. What was hidden beneath fear had been transformed into something divine. The offering of her heart had created connection, deepening their journey as a community. As the night continued, filled with laughter and hearts open to the divine, Sarah's mind brushed against profound possibility. What more would they uncover together? The promise of their next gathering lingered in the air, and Sarah felt a stirring in her spirit. Secrets still lay waiting, treasures yet to be unearthed. But what profound mysteries would they discover next on their journey together? The next few days unfolded with a tenderness that felt almost sacred. The villagers moved through their routines with a renewed sense of purpose, as if their hearts were now attuned to a deeper melody. Sarah could feel the change, the atmosphere thick with hope, like the sun breaking through after a heavy rain. As she walked through the market square, she was greeted by smiling faces and lively chatter. It struck her how the connections had deepened, woven with threads of raw honesty and vulnerability. Each greeting was a gift, each smile a promise shared among believers. One afternoon, a young boy approached Sarah, his eyes bright with excitement. "Can you teach me to play the guitar like you did at the talent show?" he asked, his voice bubbling with enthusiasm. A flicker of surprise danced in her chest. "Do you really want to learn?" "Yes," he exclaimed, bouncing on his toes. "Music makes me feel happy inside." That was it. Joy blossoming in this young heart weighed more than any self-doubt she had harbored. "All right then, let's start." Their lessons began under the same oak where Sarah had once whispered her fears. The boy learned quickly, fingers fumbly at first, but soon finding rhythm. The melodies they created floated through the air, summoning birds from the surrounding trees and laughter from passers-by. It became a sacred time of sharing, delighting not only the boy, but also Sarah, as she rediscovered the joy of creating together. One evening, just as dusk fell, Sarah found herself alone beneath the oak again. She pressed her palm against the bark, feeling the sturdy pulse of life within it. Her heart swelled as memories flooded over her. The connections forged, fears embraced, songs shared. "God," she whispered, Thank you for the gift of community." But as she gazed up at the stars pricking the night sky, a thought popped into her mind, unbidden and playful. Is there more? That very question hung in the air like a waiting promise, vibrating with possibility. The next day, Sarah's curiosity led her to speak with the village elder, a woman known for her wisdom. They sat together on a wooden bench, raindrops gently tapping the leaves above, creating a soft symphony. "It feels like treasures are being unearthed around us," Sarah began, her excitement bubbling slightly. "But what happens next?" The elder smiled knowingly. "Ah, Sarah, every revelation brings forth new questions. As we grow, we uncover deeper layers of ourselves and our purpose." Her eyes twinkled. "The true treasure is not just in what we reveal, but in how we respond to the call of the divine." Sarah felt a stirring in her soul, a tugging towards something she hadn't yet grasped. The elder continued, her voice soothing. "Sometimes a new journey begins when you are brave enough to ask the right questions. What inspires you to dig deeper? What is your heart yearning for?" With those words, Sarah felt a spark ignite within her, an invitation to explore the many facets of her faith. She left, her spirit humming with possibilities, the night a blanket of mystery ahead. In the days following her encounter, Sarah felt the urge to gather the villagers again. She sensed an energy swirling in the air, a magnetic pull urging her to explore their next chapter together. "Let's come together once more," she announced at the next market day, her voice steady. "To share what lies in our hearts, to reveal what God may be leading us to discover." The villagers nodded, intrigued and touched by her passion. But Sarah could sense that the depth of their next gathering would call for more than just words. Inwardly, she felt an unshakable tension stirring, a blend of anticipation and trepidation. What collective revelations awaited them? What beauty would emerge from their shared exploration? The time drew near, and beneath the oak's embrace, Sarah wondered how many treasures truly lay hidden, waiting just beneath the surface. What would be revealed when they dared to seek not just answers, but connections that transcended their individual journeys? As the sun dipped low, casting golden rays through the leaves, the day of gathering finally arrived. Sarah stood beneath the oak, heart racing with excitement and a pinch of anxiety. Villagers began to converge, like a river flowing toward a common source, each face glowing with curiosity about the shared revelations that awaited them. When the crowd settled, Sarah looked out at the familiar faces, friends, neighbors, and even those she hadn't yet formed bonds with.
She took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the day wrap around her like a soft blanket. "Thank you all for being here," she began, her voice steady yet gentle. "I felt a calling to invite you to this space, a space where we can seek and share what lies deep within our souls." Her words hung in the air, charged with an electric promise. A hush fell over the gathering, and Sarah could almost feel God at work, drawing hearts closer to one another. It was a sacred moment, a portal opening to something profound. "Today," she continued, "let us share our stories, the whispers of our hearts." She gazed around, meeting eyes filled with hope and hesitation. "Let's explore our fears, our dreams, what inspires us to dig deeper, to uncover the treasures inside." There was a subtle stirring in the crowd. An older man spoke first, his voice gravelly and warm. "I've carried a burden for far too long, thinking I had to bear it alone." His confession resonated, striking a chord that vibrated through the group. "But here, I feel like I'm not alone anymore." Then a young woman stood, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "I felt lost," she admitted, her voice just above a whisper.
I used to feel God's presence so strongly, but lately it's been like I'm searching in the dark." Sarah's heart ached with empathy. "Sometimes, even in our darkest moments, He is closer than we think," she shared softly. "Can we trust that the darkness may lead us to brighter days?" As voices continued to rise, the atmosphere shifted, transformed into a symphony of shared souls. One by one, villagers spoke of their struggles, their joys, and their yearnings. Each word added notes to the melody, building in the air, the melody of understanding, support, and unity that enveloped them. In this sacred circle, Sarah felt their interconnectedness. The burdens were being lifted like the weight off a weary traveler's shoulders, and she was reminded that vulnerability often begets strength. With each story shared, they were not only revealing their hearts, they were also unwittingly inviting God into the very core of their struggles. Then, suddenly, she felt a nudge within her spirit, a divine urge to invite everyone deeper. "What if," she said, her voice full of conviction, "we not only share our stories, but also create a moment of silence, to listen for God's guidance? What might He reveal to each of us?" The crowd fell silent, and there was a palpable shift in the atmosphere. Sarah closed her eyes, feeling the collective presence of her community, holding their breaths like the stillness before a storm. In that sacred space, they attuned themselves to the quiet whispers of the divine, waiting expectantly. It was in the stillness that Sarah grasped a profound truth. Sometimes the greatest revelations come not in the noise of our words, but in the hush of our hearts. As the minutes passed and faith bathed them in peace, they all sensed it.
The air tingled with promise, heavy with anticipation. What breakthrough awaited? What divine mysteries were beginning to uncover themselves in hearts aligned with intention? Just as Sarah felt a shift, a lightness in the darkness, someone gasped softly, breaking the silence. The words spoken next would change everything. What if we could see our darkest moments as a pathway to our brightest revelations? Little did they know, their next step, the very next question, would lead them on an unexpected journey. The atmosphere pulsed with energy, the words reverberating through the gathering like a divine echo. Sarah opened her eyes, her heart racing in excitement. It was as if the air itself had shifted, stirring anticipation among the villagers. What if this question was the gateway to something greater? What if they stepped boldly into the light of understanding? The crowd, charged with fresh insight, leaned forward. "Let's explore this," someone exclaimed. The words ignited a collective spark. Villagers began discussing their darkest moments, the valleys of despair they had traversed, only to find the glimmers of divine light. Sarah listened with rapt attention, tears brimming in her eyes as stories unfolded. A farmer shared how a devastating drought had turned into a lesson of resilience, leading him to brotherhood with his neighbors. A mother spoke of her fears for her son, recounting how surrendering to prayer had birthed an unexpected calling within him. Each account was a testament to how struggles had birthed courage, connection, and clarity. As the sun settled low in the sky, casting long shadows, Sarah couldn't help but marvel. "We're drawn from the depths of our pain into the brilliance of our shared light," she cried out, her voice swelling with joy. "Those very shadows reveal the path to grace." With each shared tale, they began to recognize the truth within their experiences. Pain was not a dead end, but a doorway, a chance to confront fears and embrace growth. The community's narrative transformed. They were no longer just individuals carrying burdens, but a collective tapestry woven by threads of resilience and faith. "Let's create something lasting from these revelations," Sarah proposed, feeling the warmth of unity around her.
Let's form a ministry that offers support and hope, not just for ourselves, but for future generations navigating similar journeys." The villagers erupted in enthusiasm. A sea of amens and applause echoed under the oak. The sparks ignited and ideas flowed. They envisioned prayer groups that would meet regularly, outreach to those in need, and a community garden as a metaphor for growth. They saw themselves cultivating a space where each fear could be laid bare and trust in divine purpose could take root. "Together we can blaze a trail of hope," Sarah said, her heart swelling with praise. As each person shared their excitement, hope glistened in their eyes like the stars beginning to dot the evening sky. In that sacred moment, she realized their greatest asset was not just faith, but each other. And there, nestled within the embrace of their shared mission, something profound took root. A recognition that true healing often blossomed not in isolation, but in the community's collective grace. They were not separate entities, but united vessels of light, ready to embrace the suffering and draw others into their fold. As the stars flickered above, illuminating the churchyard, Sarah stepped forward, her voice steady with conviction. "Let's seal our commitment in prayer," she urged. "Together, let's ask God to guide this vision, to show us how to extend these truths further into our lives and the lives of others." The villagers gathered in a circle beneath the oak. Hand in hand, they formed a human chain of unwavering support. The collective surge of faith surged like a river overflowing its banks. "Lord, we surrender our fears to you," Sarah led, her heart echoing the unity of the gathering. "Guide our steps as we foster growth through love and compassion." The energy swelled, each prayer echoing like thunder in their hearts. She could feel the divine presence surround them, the infinite wisdom stirring hope within fractured hearts. Suddenly, an image filled Sarah's mind, bright and radiant. Her son, healed and thriving, embracing life with unbridled joy. It was a vision infused with longing, and she loosened the grip of fear that had once anchored her spirit. "God is capable of all things," she proclaimed, her voice reverberating with liberation. "Healing is not bound by our understanding, it is woven into the very fabric of faith." As they broke from their prayer, the villagers felt the trembling energy of faith echo in their hearts. The dawn of a new era had emerged, a sense of clarity and purpose unleashed. And in that sacred space, under the great oak, they collectively pledged to navigate the unseen paths of faith together. As the moon climbed higher, illuminating the night, they embraced the truth that every ache, every battle, every miracle would become a shared story of strength. Sarah's spirit soared, the intertwining of lives resonating a symphony of love, healing, and divine clarity. She understood that the true secret of faith was the realization that they were never alone. That very moment would be their turning point, a collective testament that the miraculous power of connection could transform not just their lives, but ripple through their village and beyond. As they walked home, hearts buoyed with faith and purpose, Sarah whispered a grateful amen into the wind, for this was only the beginning. You need to subscribe now and be part of these incredible faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support makes all the difference. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this journey. We're eager to hear your thoughts. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. Don't wait even one more second. True servants of God understand the importance of supporting this channel through these actions. This is the moment to show your support.